Hey Saberites, I'm here with Darth Alice. We're at here at the Henry Ford Museum. We're going to go see the new Star Wars Last Jedi. We're taking a look around the museum while we're waiting. So we'll tell you how it is after we get out.
Looking forward to it.
Light up.
I need someone to show me my place in all this.
Saberites, Nonymous here. So, over the weekend, we saw Last Jedi. Myself and Darth Alice, for the third year in a row, we went to go see the new Star Wars film, which is a great thing in and of itself. We're going to do a show, live show, this Saturday at 3 p.m., discussing the whole movie. But I wanted to do a short, quick video on some of my impressions of the movie before we get to the big discussion. So, to preface all of this, there probably are going to be some mild spoilers in this video. So if you have not yet seen The Last Jedi and you don't want any spoilers, please go watch it and then come back to this video and watch it then. Okay. So, yes, as I said, Darth Alice and I went to the Henry Ford Museum here to see Last Jedi in IMAX. The IMAX experience was just an amazing experience. I highly recommend it. It was my first time going. I know I'm late to the game on that save, but it was awesome. My initial impressions of it was I was a little underwhelmed. It's not that I said I didn't enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. In fact, some of my favorite Star Wars moments are actually in this film. As a whole film, though, I felt it was a little bit clunky, especially in the middle, and it was hard for me to really kind of follow a storyline to completion, you know, emotionally. It just kept starting and stopping a little bit, in my opinion. So when I kind of walked out of it, I didn't really know exactly what to think. That being said, there are just some amazing things in that movie, which I love. Number one, and I know people are very divided on this movie, and I can totally tell why. But my first favorite thing about this movie is Luke. Luke as the grizzled old, disillusioned, disgraced teacher, hiding away on an island. Basically eating himself away with self-pity is it's something that I think will probably resonate with a lot of martial arts teachers or teachers in general. We all get to those points, those low points where it's just like, none of it matters anymore. And then, of course, coming from a teacher, that whole story that blooms out of Luke and Kylo and how we are sort of getting a little bit of clarity on what happened there, but not a whole lot. It's still kind of, we're all really kind of left up to our imagination on exactly what's kind of going on there. But we know a little bit about it, and we had a kind of Rashomon moment where you get to see the event from both Luke and Kylo's perspective, and then Luke's perspective again after he's kind of caught in that, in a kind of omission of the truth. So I really loved his character. I loved what they did with the Force and playing on the old tropes from the movies and the Force and that kind of thing. The one thing about that might have been some of the humor got a little bit for me, you know, kind of, but, you know, humor is a very subjective thing, so I'm just going to kind of put that on the back burner. Some jokes are going to resonate with different people. But I did think that the humor in the Luke and Rey scenes was very well done. The Kylo and Rey relationship, just so great. I would have liked to see a lot more of that, kind of maybe made as the backbone of the picture, and so that we see more of it leading up to the final conflict between Snoke and then finally her and Kylo teaming up, spoiler, against the Praetorian Guard, which I'll talk about here in a second. I would like to have seen that kind of lay out the spine of the movie, and then all of the action kind of being bridged on the tension created in that storyline. As it stands right now, this is one of my failings of the movie, I think, is that I wasn't able to really latch on to a central storyline. It kind of just jumped and meandered around these three, and sometimes four storylines. So that was kind of it just didn't allow me the space to really get into the movie without being interrupted. That's my only thing. So that was the kind of structural issue. The fight, the lightsaber fight, the whole throne room scene with the assassination of Snoke, to the fight with the guards, with the teaming up of Kylo and Rey, and then the fighting of Kylo and Rey. All of that thematically, I just really, really, really liked. I thought, and this is where I was going earlier, that the end of that fight might have been a little rushed, stapled together. It would have been nice to see some more character development and a little bit more organic switch from enemy to friend and back to enemy than was on there. But again, structural issue. Thematically, loved it. And the choreography of that fight, for my money, for right now, this is my favorite fight of the movie. I think it is legions above any of the other fights in the movie, including Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is a great fight using limitation, and I think this fight is a great example of a fight not using its own limitations, but limiting itself, right? Reining it in, so to speak, right? We had in the prequels, things kind of blew up to greater or lesser effect, and now we've got it kind of more stripped down, into it. It was very brutal, very physical. I liked the weapons that were introduced by the Praetorian Guard. Awesome stuff. Probably be doing lots of cool stuff with that stuff pretty soon. So lots of great meat and stuff to go in there. So the fight, loved it. Art direction, also really, really great. Now, some of the things that people have been complaining about, we'll get into those into detail in the discussion on Saturday. But some of the things that I like that I think a lot of people are kind of a little upset about. Number one is the Leia scene where she uses the Force to pull herself back into the ship. Yes, okay. We now have in science fiction, in the movies, this trope of people being sucked out into the vacuum of space and surviving. Ever since, I think there was an article that was put out, maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson said something like that, where somebody asked somebody and said, yes, it's technically possible that you could survive that if you did this and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, from Star-Lord to Leia, everybody's getting sucked out of the air shaft and brought back in unharmed. I'm always a little on the fence about that, because, the vacuum of space seems pretty final to me. But we're talking about a Skywalker here. We're talking about Leia, and she has these unconscious and undeveloped powers, just like the rest of her family does. She has the connection with Luke. All of that's been established. And this is nothing more than telekinesis. Everybody's kind of saying it's magic and stuff like that. The way I'm looking at it is she's just basically reaching out, grabbing the ship, and then pulling herself back in, just like floating rocks, or just like lifting the X-Wing. So that's how I'm looking at that. But we'll talk about more of that later. The other one, the couple of things that I really didn't like, that it kind of really got my nerd rage up. Yoda, God, I know people are really attached to that puppet, but boy, was that jarring to have all these really slick alien characters and then boom, frog puppet. Ooh, that kind of hurt. Maybe if they made him a little bit more ghostly, as my friend John was suggesting, that would have helped it a lot. I think it probably would have. The scene itself, I really liked. I liked what happened in it. I liked what Yoda said. I liked all that stuff. I liked the aspect of failure that is used in the movie, from how important failure is, from what Yoda says. Yoda says it's the best teacher, and I'm always saying that. And then you see that demonstrated throughout the entire movie, is one failure after another, which I think is an excellent thing and something that's very refreshing to see, especially in something like this, where it's just people having successes. And that was one of the big complaints about Rey, was that she was a Mary Sue, everything came naturally to her. Well, everybody's getting battered around to this one, so I think hopefully we'll push that argument aside. Yeah, the other thing that I really disliked was killing off Phasma. Ooh. She's the new Boba Fett. She's the new Jango Fett. Alright, we got a cool character, this is going to bring in some cool storylines, and nope, they are offed with hardly ever any lines. So, there you go. Not a big fan of that. Alright, so, anyway, again, remember, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time now. We'll be having that discussion. Join us there. Until then, see the movie, see it again, enjoy, whatever, and then join us for the show on Saturday. Until then, have a great day. Happy Saber.